This video is for my fellow black women, my fellow dark-skinned black women, to be specific. Let me not beat around the bush, because we got different experiences. And I know I'm not crazy. I can't be crazy. This world is crazy for setting up systems against me, setting up systems against people that look like me.
Scratch mixed it. I beg you, baby, kick it to the left now. If you wanna eat it, no pressure. I only do range, no Tesla. Balmain, dripping umbrella.
Dang, I can't even start the video off right. My thing already slotted. Now I'm dying. Hey y'all. It's currently 3:17 a.m. But I have something on my heart to talk about. But before we get into that, hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Subscribe, join the fam, turn my notifications on, interact, comment, live, laugh, love with me. You feel me? I'm happy that you're here. God called you here to meet me so you can be friends. We're friends now, period. I don't really have a topic per se, but we're just gonna talk and see where the video goes. So it's just been really on my mind ever since I've come to college. And this video is for my fellow black women, my fellow dark-skinned black women, to be specific. Let me not beat around the bush, because we got different experiences. So this is gonna be a sad video. This is gonna be, well, not even just sad, but very emotional, very raw. And I know it's gonna speak to so many other black women out there. So if you want to be on this happy-go-lucky, like the world is amazing run, I completely respect that. But you gotta understand that people that look like me, who have experiences like me, who feel devalued like me on a daily basis, we're not gonna have that energy all the time. But trust me, we can. We can amp up, we can turn up, we are cool. But there have been recurring people, both new and old, in my life who are reiterating the same kind of sentiments to me. And I just wanted to make this video because I've just come to the realization that I can't be expending energy going through an internal battle with myself to try and be more positive, to try and see the light at the end of the tunnel in every single situation. I'm fully cognizant of it, but my reality is more important to me because that's what immediately impacts me. And I'm speaking kind of in like idealist terms, but I'm gonna get to the specifics of what I'm talking about, hopefully, because if I don't, then this is a waste of video. But essentially what I'm talking about is just, I know people think I'm a drag, or that I always see the negative side of things, that I am capable of being positive or laughing or just having a good time. It's not the case. I very much can. But when I see consistent trends in the way that I'm treated or people like me are treated, when you hear some of the ugliest things about people that look like you, when you go on social media, and social media is so toxic, at least for me. I mean, you definitely have to be at a certain level of confidence and comfort with yourself to be able to use social media and not feel depleted after scrolling or after interacting or after posting a picture sometimes. Because sometimes you'll post it and you think you look at fly. Or you're having a good day, you think you look good. And then a picture may not get as many likes or comments as you anticipated. And then you see on your explore page other people who generally look a certain way, or even if they look like you and they're darker. Let me stop beating around the bush. Even in music, I can't even listen to music without being reminded of how devalued the darker skinned black woman is. Everybody in music, Kodak talking about, I'm already black, I don't need no black B. You got other people fetishizing, romanticizing relations with red bones, with Hispanics, with a certain type of girl that doesn't look or resemble anything like you. But I'm supposed to still support these artists. I'm supposed to act like everything's okay when YG talking about he can't stand no black ass bitch. Like, I'm supposed to be screaming those lyrics in concerts. I'm still supposed to support them and be able to operate in the same way as people who don't have to think about how people already think that you're an angry black woman if you're darker, or more people are inclined to just not want to be around you or just have less patience for you because they're not as automatically attracted to you as they are to generally lighter skinned people. And of course, this is just breeding into something else that's been weighing really heavily on my mind, desirability politics. But it's complicated by the different levels of pretty, which are all inextricable from white supremacy. Because you have some darker skinned women who are also venerated, who are seen as complete, like the most attractive beings ever. Like, let's say Ryan Destiny, for example. If I think of a better example, I'll put more on the screen, but a lot of them have Eurocentric features. You can have a darker skinned black body and not necessarily experience the same discrimination or all in its totality, because you still correlate with the predominant Eurocentric beauty standards in some way, shape, or form. Maybe the shape of your nose, it may be your lips, it may be class. Class complicates everything. So the amount of wealth that you have, even though you definitely experience like racism if you're a black person living in a predominantly white area or an area that predominantly has more money, you're more well off. But a lot of people aren't cognizant of their race in the same respect, because class does blind you from a lot of society's ills. Because in a capitalist society like America, money can buy your way out of certain things. And of course, racism is still going to be here at the end of the day. Sexism is still going to be here at the end of the day. Homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, all these different fears about people and evaluations about who they are based on things that we've been socialized to believe. They're still going to be there at the end of the day, but class and wealth and the social capital that comes with that, the connections that you get by being in higher tax brackets, a lot of the time that can blind you to the way that the world really operates, to the worldly experiences that most people who don't have that same level of access and money have. I'm trying to keep this video short because I know y'all be tired of seeing my videos being like 23 minutes long. But what mainly inspired this is just how everybody just always tells me, you got to see the more positive. Like, you can't always be so down. You can't always be so negative. I'm not negative all the time, but it's like you see the world for what it really is. The way you're treated, the way you feel about yourself. There's a certain type of internal corrosion of your spirit that comes with having to always, like, say Tinder, for example. If I'm on Tinder, I'm looking at somebody, I'm like, damn, they probably don't even like black women or don't like black women that look like me. And you constantly thinking about that, or you going out and you think you look so good and you want to post a picture, but then you go on social media and you know it's not going to hit the same because you don't look like another person. And this is all just because of desirability politics. It hurts. So it's hard to navigate the world with this happy-go-lucky attitude when you know at the end of the day, that's how, at least our world in this lifetime, that's how it is. And it's not going to change anytime soon. It's not. It's just not. So even with my Princeton experience, I really wish I could speak to having a positive experience every single day. And I know that sometimes when people ask me how it is, they're disappointed that I'm honest. But my experience is my experience. And I'm not going to let people guilt trip me or make me feel bad for having bad experiences, primarily because of what I look like and the assumptions that people make about me because of who I am, a darker skinned black woman. And of course, I still do have other privileges that a lot of people don't have. I'm not transgender, so that's a completely different experience. I'm not in poverty, so that's a completely different experience. I'm at an Ivy League school, and that's a privilege in and of itself, which I'm always constantly reminding myself of. But you can't expect people to turn off their feelings. You can't expect people to tone down their experiences because it's depleting you, because it's too much, it's too overwhelming for you to hear about this. You would feel exactly the same way if you had exactly the same experiences as me and so many other black women who look like this or who don't fit in perfectly with the narratives that we're told about who's attractive or who we should see as attractive, what we should aspire to look like, who we should desire, who we should want to go after, who we should like. There are so many complex issues. And the way that we look, colorism it's infused into all of that. Colorism, classism, racism, all the other isms and phobias that I previously mentioned, they're all operating at the same time. And it can just get to be a lot. Once you're on the back end of that, where you're bearing the brunt of these negative experiences because of the way that our society is orchestrated, it's hard. You get this feeling, this sense of exasperation, because you just see how people generally think, and it's almost as if no matter how hard you try, you could try to exceptionalize yourself to prove that you're different than all the other Black women who this person has come across, or you're different than all the other, you're just not like everybody else. You could try to make yourself the exception. You could be that happy girl. You could change your voice all you want so that people will be less intimidated by you. But at the end of the day, we're reading bodies. We're making assumptions about who people are before we even know them. And it takes a lot of personal unconditioning for us to be able to see people without using the lenses that society has given us to understand who they are, or to see if we should be attracted to them, or to see if we should want to be friends with them, or to see them as people, period. Because there are a lot of people in society that we value differently. For example, homeless people. A lot of people don't value homeless people as people, or people who don't have houses, however you want to put it, because they feel like there are certain things that comprise humanity, and a house and wealth should be two of those things. And the same thing can be said about race. If you've grown up in a homogeneous society where you're only really surrounded by whiter people, or you're surrounded by richer people, and then you get placed amongst others, and then you encounter those people who you're not really around all the time, or who you've consistently been told, or maybe not even explicitly told, but the fact that you weren't exposed to them, or the fact that the information that we are all receiving is inevitably biased. Like, from the little things from children's books not really representing darker skinned people or Black people, period, but especially darker skin. Movies, we have the same people like Lupita. I'm supposed to be happy with that. Or if you do, people are consuming media that's consistently perpetuating certain stereotypes about certain types of people. And most commonly, the stereotypes about Black women are that they're unworthy of love because we're usually the peripheral characters in movies, or that we're rowdy, that we're always angry, that we don't know how to have fun, that we aren't classy. People are consuming this media, and the media is confirming assumptions that we already had about people, whether we knew it or not. So that's just very frustrating. But back to what I was kind of talking about before, and I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. I promise. There are different levels of pretty. There are some pretty people that we call pretty, but we may not really feel it in our soul, but we feel obligated to because of their situation. Like, maybe they have a skin condition, or they've had a really trying background, or they're extremely nice, or we've been conditioned to think of fat people as unattractive, but you see a fat person and they're really confident. So now you're calling them pretty almost out of guilt, because psychologically it's registered that, oh my gosh, this person isn't attracted to me, or I've been told that this person shouldn't be attracted to me. But they're displaying a confidence that I don't feel like they should have, because I've been consistently told that they're not attractive and this and that. And that confidence in and of itself is attractive. So I call them pretty, even if I don't really believe it. Then there are pretty people who coincide with Eurocentric beauty standards, and like colorism just continues to hold this up. There are the people that we're all almost immediately going to say are pretty. How can we all look at Rihanna and say, oh, she's attractive, but then we'll look at Viola Davis and we won't have those same intuitions about Viola Davis's attractiveness as we would to Rihanna's? And of course, attractiveness is objective and everybody has their own preferences. But these preferences, they're continuously informed by these different systems that operate to put darker skinned people lower, or people who don't have those Eurocentric features. And then there are people who are like an exotic type of pretty. An easy example is to see a darker skinned person or a black person, period, with colored eyes, because that is a racialized feature. People don't expect, even though every eye color has a color like mine are brown, we don't expect black people to have blue eyes or green eyes. So we see that, and that's automatically attractive to us. Why? Because that feature has been racialized as white. And even though this does coincide with like common trends within different groups of people, whatever, but I'm not an ecologist, I'm not a eugenicist for sure, I'm not any of those scientists or pseudoscientists who are going to say, oh, this happens because X person is this race, blah, 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 because race is still socially constructed at the end of the day, but it reaps real tangible benefits and disadvantages for people in our society. And we can see that every day. We can see this by me making this video now, talking about how I feel and just realizing how my experiences have made me more of a pessimistic person. But that's not because I'm incapable of seeing the positive things in my life, or I don't have positive things in my life, or that everybody's completely repulsed by me or unattracted to me. But there definitely is, there's so many layers to so many different things. And the way that you're perceived in society influences that. Oh, so I'm jumping all over the place. But to go back to the pretty thing, there are different levels of pretty. Then there are people who are pretty because they're completely unique. You've never really seen somebody who looks like them before. Or some people may be pretty because of their energy. Like they may be very artistic and just really comfortable in themselves. And that aura in and of itself, combined with the way that they look, which isn't a look that you see every day, that makes them attractive. That makes them pretty. So there are different layers. But moral of the story, I just wanted to make this video for other darker skinned black women who probably feel this same internal strife. Like, why can't I be more positive? Why do I always suck the life out of situations? Why can't I just enjoy life at times? And it's because we're all living different lives. We are experiencing the world in a completely different way than somebody who's light skinned is, than somebody who's an immigrant is, than somebody who's a darker skinned woman or a darker skinned man, because gender complicates everything, because black men are hyper sexualized and fetishized. Gendered colorism, that's a completely different topic for a completely different day. But there's so many intricacies that complicate the way that we come to understand ourselves and the way that we come to understand others. But point blank period, my darker skinned women, if you're feeling the same way, because I know I can't be the only person in the world feeling this way, because I'll talk to some of my other darker friends, or I was listening to a podcast, like the Black Women podcast today, and they were talking about this, and I was like, okay, I know I'm not crazy, because I'll talk to other people, or the people who are coming in and out of my life recently, as I've been talking about, and they'll make me feel like I'm crazy for feeling the way that I do, and I know I'm not crazy. I can't be crazy. This world is crazy for setting up systems against me, setting up systems against people that look like me, so that I'm in my room feeling like this, while other people will never be able to understand the gravity of my situation or understand the gravity of other people's situations, because they're not going to experience it. You can understand, but you're not going to understand the gravity of the situation, because at the end of the day, you're always going to be analyzing it from an outsider's perspective with your own various privileges. So it's just kind of irritating when people are like, okay, but you could be more positive, you could be more happy, you don't have to talk about it all the time. This is what I'm experiencing all the time. This is what we're experiencing all the time. So if y'all feeling like people around you getting fed up, I mean, of course, I think it shouldn't be a burden that's placed upon us, but it definitely is, because of how the world is. But we just really have to make sure we're being really generous to ourselves. We're continuously, and to ourselves, I'm talking to darker skinned black women. This video is for y'all. This video is for us. This video is for us. But see, y'all got me breaking my back. I'm over here slumped like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, whatever it's called. Looking crazy at 3 in the morning, about to be 4. But this video is for us because I know people get tired of hearing about it. And I do understand, because why would I want to hear about a depressing experience that I can't relate to? But it's just up to us to meditate, to pray, do yoga, do art, whatever it is that fulfills you and gives you an escape from the way that this world is set up. The way that this world can remind you, you'll be having a good day. I'll be walking outside like, oh, it's beautiful. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so blessed to be who I am. And then I could go out later that night. Or I could open up Tinder. I could just scroll on the gram, or I could talk to people. I could overhear people's conversation and just hear the way that they completely disregard me. It's just exasperation. I just want to throw my hands up. I want to throw the towel in. I'm like, world, you won. You got it. You got me feeling like I'm the scum of the earth sometimes. Like I'm the ugliest thing to ever be here. Like it's you start thinking something's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with us. It's the way the world is set up. Because if there was a parallel universe out there, we would be on top. And then other people, whiter people who were on the bottom, they would be making videos just like me in their room, not being able to understand that the way that we're feeling isn't reflective of a lack on our part. It's just reflective of how effective these different systems are at maintaining the value of whiteness, the value of riches, the value of heteronormativity, the value of manhood in terms of patriarchy. It's not reflective of us. And I had to keep reminding myself of that. I had to continuously give myself the space to feel these feelings. But then this is something I'm working on more, but to journal and get those feelings off of my chest. Because if not, they will fester up in me. And it will be exuded in every word, every piece of work that I produce, every interaction that I have. And that's not healthy, because at the end of the day, as much as this world sucks, we still got to inhabit it. We still got to live. And we still got to live with people who nobody else is going to understand our experiences but each other, because they're not living it with us. But we still got to live in this world. Even though sometimes I want to talk about it, even when I don't want to talk about how it feels, how colorism impacts me, how racism impacts me, it exudes out of everything, because these two things are constantly operating everywhere. So I can't escape it. And you just become aware of how you can't escape it because of the experiences that you have as a darker skinned Black woman. But moral of the story, I feel what you feel. I see you. I hear you. I love you. Because we're also not told that we're loved a lot. And if we are, sometimes it comes from people with weird fetishes. So I see you and I value you for who you are. And I'm telling you, you're beautiful. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Not you're beautiful because you're smart, or because you're so strong, or you're so outspoken, or maybe you're not outspoken. Maybe you're not any of these things. But I feel like a lot of the times, us as darker skinned women, our beauty is attributed to the qualities that we have. And it shouldn't just be that, because other people are just told straight up objectively that they're beautiful, not because they have all these positions or they have all this success. And I've noticed myself, I push myself so hard to succeed, to do well in other factions of life, because that's how other people have always given me value. They've never given me value just off of being me, just off of looking like how I look. So I always have to get that value by excelling in other places. And I'm just here to tell y'all, we don't got to put that pressure on ourselves. I love you. I'm here for you. If y'all ever want to talk, hit me up. My social's going to be in the description box below. I said I wasn't going to make this video long, but I said what I had to say. I said my piece, and I hope that this brings peace to some other Black women out there. And if you watch this video and you're not a darker skinned black woman, but you sat here and you took the time to listen to an experience that you may or may not understand but will never go through, I appreciate that. I really do. But as always, it's always love, y'all. I love each and every single one of you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting my journey. Thank you for watching me, growing with me. So if you watch to this point, we're going to do a question. You know, we always do questions to end off the video to give y'all something to think about, and so we could get a little something going in the comment section. This was kind of a heavy video, so we gonna make it a light question. Or, you know what? Talk about whatever your heart puts upon you. If you want to respond to what's been said in the video, do that. I really want to read that too. Okay, let's just do something like that. How do you think that your identity has impacted the way that you navigate the world? That's the question for this video. Yeah, as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. As I said before, literally 2 seconds ago, my socials are going to be in the description box down below. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that. I love you all. If nobody told you you're beautiful today, you are. My black woman. Chef's kiss. Yeah, so I'll see y'all soon.